We got 6 heroes at the launch of Marvel's Avengers that all play completely different from each other. It's not really that one is the best right now, it just really depends on what you prefer as a player. So in this video I want to go over all the 6 launch heroes, tell you where they excel at and what type of skills you can expect, their traversal and way more. So you can figure out who might be the best for you. A like on the video would really help the channel out. And let's go. I'm by the way doing a weekly giveaway for the 2000 credit pack, so you do not have to spend money yourself but can still get stuff from the marketplace. All you need to do is click the link in the pinned comment for a chance to win, and be sure you are a subscriber of the channel as well before you enter. I will reach out to the winner via the email. Let's start with the Hulk, the true tank of the bunch. And this is actually one of my favorite heroes in the game. Not only because it's super satisfying to smash everything and break these robots, but also because the Hulk has way more layers than you might think at first. And if you get everything under control, he can be a true powerhouse. It's mostly about his rage mechanic, so the bar under his health bar that you get when attacking, but also when you get hit. You can activate it by holding R2, but even better is to wait for an enemy to do an attack and then counter that by pressing R2 at the right time. So then you disrupt the attack from the enemy and deal increased damage to that enemy, and that's overall the thing with rage. In this state you deal more damage. Attacks also heal you, while you also receive less damage in the process. So as the Hulk, you actually want that a lot of enemies are attacking you to fill that rage bar as soon as possible and use it against them. And every heroic can in the end taunt nearby targets, so they will attack you. The support, Bone Shaker, already has a taunt from the start and actually deals some damage to surrounding enemies too. We got Stranglehold, that's a more offensive skill. It lets you rush towards a target, and if it's a stronger target, you'll have this awesome special animation play where you grab onto them and deal quite a lot of damage. And the ultimate Thunderclap is amazing to deal with the many smaller enemies. The activation already has some damage numbers appear, and then they will take an even bigger hit when the charge is completed. You can also do some fun things like grab an enemy by holding the light attack button and then use them as a weapon, or you can throw them to other targets. You can also have this rock appear that you can also use as a ranged attack, especially handy against the many turrets. And his traversal is actually pretty nice for long distances, because if you hit the jump button right when you land, you actually bounce further next time. Regular climbing and platforming can be tricky though in my experience, but that is of course less of an issue with Thor, because he can fly, so he can get everywhere in the larger war zones rather quickly. And in terms of combat, Thor is really great at a lot of things as well. Ranged is one of them. You can bounce your hammer between targets after unlocking a skill, or throw it to pin an enemy to a wall or to the ground, and then they will just stay down unless you recall your hammer, so then teammates for example can easily deal some damage onto that enemy. Your special R2 or the right trigger attack is called Odin Force, that you can use to parry incoming attacks, but after some upgrades there's also an overcharge mechanic that lets you automatically get into the Odin Force when the overcharge is active. And that is great because your regular damage will be increased and you also deal extra shock damage on those regular hits, so you really turn into this elemental monster. And you by the way build up that Odin Force bar by dealing damage without getting hit, so staying close to the target but also paying attention to their attacks. The support of Thor is called Warrior's Fury, that upon activating can deal damage to nearby targets. You get electrical attacks with the short Warrior's Fury buff, but again it's a support, so you want to do it close to your teammates because they will become invulnerable for a short while. God Blast is an amazing offensive power though, that lifts up the surrounding enemies into the air and then blasts them away. It's really great in larger groups. And Bifrost is the ultimate that has Thor disappear and then reappear somewhere else, dealing a ton of damage in that area, and a damage that can also be upgraded with skills to, for example, leave fire that deals damage over time, or you can immediately trigger the overcharge or leave behind a healing aura. So yes, Thor can be a nice support, especially if you unlock the Hell's Discretion skill that can revive nearby allies when using your support heroic. But the true support hero of all the launch characters is Kamala Khan, or Ms. Marvel. She has a similar revive when doing her support heroic, and that support heroic, by the way, already heals herself and allies, so is very powerful. But Kamala is the only one in the game, I think, that can revive herself with the Life Spark specialization for the support heroic. This will namely let you do that ability when you are downed yourself. So then you get back up. It's really nice. Kamala can do some nice damage as well with her regular attacks that also have quite a lot of range compared to the others. And she will hit then surrounding enemies too. You can get even bigger with the ultimate Ambiggen. That also increases your damage and can let you easily clean up even more enemies. But crowd control, so holding enemies in a place, will be Ms. Marvel's biggest offensive strength. For one, you can high five enemies, so push them away or off ledges. And you can even hold up to 3 charges of this when you upgrade it, so you can do this ability fast after each other. Her regular ranged attacks are great to take out some flying enemies, but upgrading it can also let you hold enemies in place, so then a teammate can go crazy and take the enemy out before they are free. It's pretty cool. But overall, you want to be close to the enemies most of the times, and Polymorph will help you stay alive in those situations, because it namely lets you instantly dodge incoming basic attacks, and it also increases your damage, so it's pretty good. I like her traversal as well. She has some big jumps and can easily grab onto ledges or even pull herself towards enemies. But it's of course nothing compared to Iron Man, that just like Thor can fly and has a speed boost available, and overall flying can also be used to your advantage in combat. Overall you will be hovering a lot as Iron Man and shooting one of the 3 different weapons. You got the regular repulsors and also lasers and rockets that are both unlocked in the skill tree. And it's nice that you can easily switch between those weapons with the D-pads, because they are all great for different situations. You do need supercharge though to use those weapons, and this refills over time, or actually faster when you do melee attacks. So sometimes you want to get close and personal. Although overall it's better to stay far away as Iron Man, I think, and for example do the Unibeam Assault Heroic that is very powerful against high health enemies like bosses. With the support Arc Overload, you stun nearby enemies and overcharge Iron Man, so you can easily spam your ranged attacks that now deal more damage and have a better attack speed. But you can also enhance this to revive nearby allies, as we've seen before. But as you likely know, Iron Man has the most impressive ultimate of all the heroes at launch, the Hulk Buster, that completely transforms the way you play with different regular attacks. And by spending skill points, you can actually also do a Unibeam with the Hulk Buster or a Rocket Barrage. And this might also be the best tool to boost low level teammates, because you can, by holding the ability, also put it on the ground so then allies can jump into it. And we now actually see Black Widow jump into the Hulk Buster, and she might be the most underrated hero, at least at the time of this recording, while she plays pretty great. She's the fastest hero when it comes to attacks and can just spam her grappling hook to zip towards enemies to close the distance and continue with some more melee attacks. And overall she's really about combos, so dealing damage without getting hit, because that fills the red Shadow Ops bar below your health bar. And when that is full, damage is increased massively. Combine that with the ultimate that gives you the electric staff, so you can do some new combos and hit multiple enemies, and well, those enemies will die pretty quickly. The overall basics is just that you want to deal constant damage with Black Widow. Swing yourself to different enemies to not lose a moment without any hits. The Veil of Shadows can help with that, because it makes you and surrounding allies invisible, so enemies can't spot you and you can easily build up that combo. The Assault Heroic is very nice too, as it stays in one place and then deals shock damage to targets in that area, but also to certain objectives that have to be destroyed, so it's pretty good. Overall, you can really make her an elemental powerhouse, because your heavy attacks deal shock damage too, so find any increases on gear and it will be very nice. I still need to level her up more, so I can see if the pistols can be sustainable late game, because while they feel great to use, they aren't that strong at the start. Now, so far, Captain America is a better ranged character. You can, of course, throw his shield to enemies, and maybe also when, like, it flies back, you can hit the enemy again. And the Assault Heroic Steamroller pushes that to the next level. I now got it fully upgraded, so it will bounce to up to 8 targets, dealing increased damage compared to regular ranged attacks. And you can have multiple charges too, so that you can immediately use the ability again after you used it once. But I gotta say, I personally like Captain America more as a melee character. With the Rally Cry Support Heroic, you can namely mark enemies that are close by, so they take increased damage from all sources. So also when your teammates attack those targets. Doing that first and then going into the ultimate called Brooklyn Brawler is insanely powerful. You first deal some damage when activating the ability. Your damage and defense strength is increased when the ability is active. But more importantly, you get this new insane light attack combo that deals way more damage. And it's also active for a pretty long time, so this ultimate is really strong. You can also hold up your shield to block incoming attacks or parry incoming attacks when timed right, or even like shoot back the projectile to the enemy. It's really cool to slam the shield as well and then blast the enemies away, and if they then are still alive, they will also be taunted, so come and attack you. I just overall love the power and how you can easily trigger the takedowns with Captain America. I also got a very cool build already that I cannot wait to show you in a future video. So keep it locked for that, but overall Captain America really fun. The traversal is just pretty bad. He can do a double jump, but his running is pretty slow. You can use your shield to charge, but that will then deplete your bar that you actually want to use for other things. But yeah, still my favorite character to play, and I cannot wait to show you that build. So subscribe to stay up to date on way more Marvel's Avengers content. When there are new updates coming to the game, I will also let you know and got way more tips and tricks coming your way. A like on the video would really help the channel out. And let me know what your favorite hero is in the comments down below. For now, I will speak to you next time. You can check out my previous Avengers video on amazing items and upgrades you want to get by clicking on the screen. And goodbye.